Hi, I'm Mr. Clarence Pleake. It was the Marine Corps. I was 23 and was kind of hot-tempered, and I was still really bitter over the way that we were treated at Pearl Harbor. I didn't like that at all. All my friends were going in, and I had a job, and I just didn't think it was fair. So that's when I talked to my buddy Dan Hill. And actually what we had in mind was the Navy. We wanted to get into a submarine service. But sure enough, as we get down to the Federal building, we're walking up the steps, and a Master Gunnery Sergeant of the Marine Corps walked out in a suit of the prettiest blues I had ever seen. And I said, "Dan, let's join the Marine Corps." He didn't want to, and we argued about that for a minute. And Gunny saw us, so he came down and took us by the arm, led us into the Marine Corps recruiting office, and signed us up. I enlisted in March of 1944, and of course we were on maneuvers. We'd gone out to sea several times during that summer, but I didn't actually get into action until early February, when we landed at Guam, trying to eliminate all of the snipers there that we could, and then on up to Iwo Jima. So we were training for quite a little while. When we were put aboard ship to go overseas, we were in what they call the 5th Division, and they were just organizing it. It wasn't full strength yet. Well, you didn't stand up very much on Iwo Jima. We crawled most of the way. And that time, though, we had taken this pillbox, and we were just standing on the lower side of it, and all at once a Japanese grenade rolled right down between us. And Hank, my buddy, kicked it off into a little depression, and we hit the deck, and it exploded, and none of us were hurt. The other was our Captain Cochran asked for 3 men to go up on the mountain. There was a sniper up there that had been shooting so many of our guys. And so Hank and Norm and I, we climbed up there. It took us quite a while because that was a real steep mountain. But we got up there and we found the cave that we thought was the one. I had the satchel charge, and right behind me was Hank with the detonator. Well, we went in and we placed it. It was dark, but we placed the best we could, and we cut the fuse short on it. And as we started out, I guess Norm got worried, and all at once, it was still dark, but 2 arms grabbed us, 2 hands grabbed us, and just yanked us out of it. And it was so violent that we went over the edge, and just as we went over, the satchel charge went off and blew all that debris over us. And I don't know how far we rolled down the mountain, and we didn't get hurt by the explosion except for the concussion. It almost ruined our hearing. We couldn't hear for hours, and we got bruises and scratches down there, and we've thought about that, but we've all agreed the good Lord was watching over us all that time. One morning talking to one of the guys, and he had found a barber shop. Of course, in the Marine Corps, they're pretty strict. You got to be looking neat every morning. Well, we went down to this barber, and it was a fellow and his wife in their home. And when I got in the chair, I was a little bit concerned. I thought, one swipe and I'm gone, but they were friendly people, and we had a good time. After the 3rd day, we'd started saving our little pieces of candy out of the rations and giving to the kids. There was 4 cigarettes in a package. We would give those to the fellows that smoked and all. So we started getting acquainted. Within about a week, we had baseball teams set up, and I always liked to see the couples, young couples, walking down the street. The girl would always be behind, but after we'd been there about a week, they were walking down together, holding hands, and happy as they could be, because they'd seen that we guys were not there to hurt them. We're just doing our duty. The 3 of us were together a lot, and one day we decided we'd go down and see Nagasaki. So we got a ride on a Jeep. They took us down, dropped us off. Nagasaki was just flattened. There was hardly anything there. It was just terrible, and no life at all in that area. While we were standing there, though, the MPs showed up from all directions. Seemed like there must have been a half dozen of them. They took us all, boy, and sat us down in the jeeps and started asking questions. And then they drove us to their headquarters, which was a makeshift building. They were asking why we were there. Finally let us go and told us that we would hear from them. Well, we were kind of worried. We didn't know. We thought they was going to throw us in a brig, but as it turned out, we never heard any more from them. And we did learn that the reason for it was that Nagasaki was still radioactive. Well, I was elated. I looked forward to it. And in our letters, we had planned to move back down to Branson and Hollister. That was home to us. And I guess I hadn't even made any plans about what kind of work I would do. I was just wanting to get home.